Ever feel like you're doing this teaching thing alone? You don't have to be. Shared teaching is all about sharing the workload through the power of collaboration and teamwork. Together, we'll walk through all the difficult parts of teaching and learn how to streamline our processes, fine-tune our time management, and develop a more manageable workload. If that sounds like a dream come true to you, then welcome to the Shared Teaching Podcast. Let's share in the teaching to make those dreams a reality. Now here's today's Shared Teaching. Hello, teacher friends, and welcome back to another Shared Teaching Podcast episode. I'm your host, Susan, and today we are diving into a new mini-series that I'm calling the Writing Process mini-series, and today is number 1. This is the planning step. So planning is the foundation of strong writing, but many of our students struggle with getting started. So in this episode, we're going to explore some simple strategies to help your first and second graders generate ideas and organize their thoughts before writing. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, first up, we're going to talk about why planning is essential for young writers. And I believe that planning is just a way for us to get our ideas out, and it's kind of a way we can think through our writing process and kind of eliminate things before we get started. So for example, if I'm brainstorming a whole list of ideas of things that I want to happen in my story, I can start to narrow down when I see the list in front of me of things that I don't want to include. So maybe after I've written them down, I'm like, not such a great idea. And I can eliminate off the bat. So it kind of saves me a little bit of time when I go to the writing stage. And the writing stage will be next week, so don't forget to tune in for that. So another reason why planning is essential for our young writers is it really helps them to figure out what they want to write about and how they're going to approach it before they get started. It should alleviate some of the stress and anxiety over writing the actual lesson or assignment or whatever it is that they're trying to write, okay? So for our young writers, I feel like this is just a good first step to kind of show them the writing process. Remember, we're always wanting to teach through that process. So not every day is I'm going to plan, I'm going to write, I'm going to revise, I'm going to edit, I'm going to publish. We're not going through all those steps every single time we write, but just when we're at a planning stage in our writing, okay? So there are different types of planning. I like to use brainstorming, graphic organizers, and drawing. So when it comes to brainstorming, it's very similar to whatever you want to call it, a brain dump. Maybe you just have a big circle map and they're just putting ideas inside their circle map that have to do with that main focus for what their circle map is about. And then graphic organizers, then a circle map can also be considered a graphic organizer, but we're also using things like tables. I love a good table, and that's going to really help our students put their thoughts into categories and kind of be more structured when it comes to thinking through their ideas. So maybe your graphic organizer for a story during a narrative writing unit is going to have like a beginning, middle, and end. So it's got 3 sections, and they're just putting some ideas for the beginning, some for the middle, and some for the end. You can also use a table if you're doing like an opinion writing. Maybe you want to have like some pros and some cons, like cats versus dogs. So one side of the column is cats, one side of the column is dogs. It's very easy to teach students to fold their paper and have those 2 sections of their notebook that they can just write those ideas on each side. And another way you can do is free writing. I talked about this in a recent episode. So free writing is just a way to have them write freely without any kind of direction. And it just kind of gets the ideas flowing. And the last one that we have for different types of planning is drawing. This is great for our young writers that are really having some trouble putting their actual thoughts and ideas into words that are readable or sentences that we understand. So having them draw it out is really great. And I like to do what I call a story sketch, where they're just doing a really quick sketch. They're not spending all their time detailing their pictures and making them colorful and pretty and beautiful. And the reason for this is because I want to spend writing time writing, because we have such little time in our school day. Sometimes we only have 15 minutes to write. I don't want them spending 15 minutes getting that drawing just right with the beautiful sun and clouds and flowers and all the details in the world, especially when we're first and second grade. We want to move beyond the beautiful, colorful drawings, and we're going to save that for when it's really special and we're publishing. Okay, so drawings are just quick sketches, and then we move on to our actual writing. So the planning stage for me is very quick. I don't want to take a lot of our time for planning, especially if I'm teaching them. We're going to plan and then we're going to start writing. So sometimes that's done in one day. Sometimes in the beginning of the year, the planning is just done in one day and then the writing is in a second day. So it just really depends. Okay. Some easy strategies to help your students get those ideas down on their paper is maybe if they're really struggling, you're going to have them buddy up with somebody. They can talk through their ideas. Their friend maybe can write the list of things for them and help them write their brainstorming list, while their other friend just tells them what to put, right? Kind of like a reporter. You can have them watch you model. So I'm always a big advocate of modeling things through. So you are modeling whole class. The whole class is giving you ideas. You're jotting the ideas down. Then they can take one of those ideas, and that's what they can put in their brainstorming or whatever their planning is for that day. Another way you can have some scaffolding techniques for your struggling writers is to offer them, besides a buddy, sorry, I blinked for a minute, you can have them work together, of course, and they maybe each take turns to make the plan, or like I said, you can have them rely more on drawing. But really the point here is that you are offering them some kind of support and a way to help them kind of get over that hump of getting started. Whether it's the whole class brainstorming ideas, and that's going to like, oh yeah, I could write about that. Now, if they're really struggling writers, it's okay if they pick your idea and theirs is very similar to yours. You're going to see that a lot, especially in lower elementary grades. It's okay. What you want to make sure is eventually they're moving on from just kind of copying from you. So we can talk about that in another episode if you like. But something came to my mind just a minute ago. What was it? Oh, nope, lost it. I'm sure I'll think of it as soon as I'm done. Okay, last but not least, we want to make sure we have some kind of simple planning routine that we're going to implement in our classrooms. So remember, we're working through the writing process, but we're not focusing on all the steps in the writing process each and every single day. Sometimes we don't even get through all the steps within a week. For me personally, when I plan out my units, I'm only publishing maybe 3 times in a unit. And so maybe my unit takes, 8 to 9 weeks. And we're really only publishing 3 pieces of writing, but we're practicing writing every day. So we usually do like maybe a plan and a write, a plan and a write, a plan and a write. And then maybe we take that writing and we're revising and we're editing it. And then maybe we pick our favorites and then we're publishing it. So we're kind of going through that beginning cycle over and over again, because that's the part we need to practice the most. And then we're kind of zhuzhing it up and polishing it up later. So think about what your planning routine is going to look like in your classroom. Make it simple, make it easy to follow. And I hope you found this episode helpful for you today. If you enjoy listening, as always, please leave me a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, I think it is now. I'm dating myself. So that I can hear what you like and what you enjoy to hear more of. And then if you haven't picked it up yet, I do have a free guide for planning out your writing units to make it very easy and quick to plan out your entire writing unit. If you want to grab that, it is free and it will be in the show notes. Bye for now. If you've loved this show, then join me in sharing the teaching,
hitting that subscribe button,
and leaving us a review on
iTunes,
so we can be found by more teachers like you who are ready to start sharing the workload. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Find new episodes each week on sharedteaching.com. Thanks for listening to the Shared Teaching Podcast.